What we're doing here is a deep dive, a forensic explainer of what is, essentially, a sophisticated system of psychological warfare. This isn't just about someone trying to steal your money. It's an institutional heist that targets the very core of who you are. We're going to go inside the playbook of the Sovereign Siphon.
And this is where it gets really twisted. This is the central paradox of the whole scam. See, it works not because it sounds like a crime is happening, but because it wraps itself up in the uniform of official authority. It makes the predator sound like the only person who can possibly protect you. I mean, think about it. Your social security number. It's the master key to everything. It unlocks your bank accounts, your medical history, your credit, your entire digital and financial life. And that is exactly why it's such a huge target. If you lose control of that key, you don't just lose money. You risk having your entire identity liquidated.
So here's how we're going to break this all down. We're going to deconstruct this threat in 6 stages. We'll look at the psychological setup, we'll dissect the scammer's playbook piece by piece, understand the human biases that they exploit, and then, most importantly, we're going to lay out a crystal clear protocol to defend yourself.
Okay, let's dive in. The very first piece of this puzzle is what we call the protector paradox. This is how the scammer just waltzes right past your natural defenses. They don't sound like a threat, you see. They sound like the one person who can save you from a threat.
It's a technique called spoofed bureaucracy. The voice on the phone is calm, they're professional, they use all the right jargon. They'll give you a badge number, a case file, and this tone of just absolute importance. The whole performance is designed to make your common sense just shut down. You're not talking to a thief, you're talking to an official. And the more official they sound, the more your brain is just hardwired to comply.
But establishing that fake authority, that's just step 1. Next, they spring the trap. And this phase has nothing to do with logic. It's all about creating an emotional battle space inside your head, where your rational mind is just completely disarmed.
What they're about to do is weaponize a really primal, deep-seated fear we all have. The fear of being on the wrong side of a massive, all-powerful government institution. It's that terrifying thought that your name, your identity, has been flagged in some huge federal criminal investigation.
And this right here, this highlights a biological exploit. The moment that institutional fear kicks in, the party of your brain responsible for rational thought, your prefrontal cortex, it effectively goes offline. You drop into a state of fight or flight, and the scammer is literally counting on that panic to blindfold your common sense.
This isn't just a fear of losing some money. The threat they create is one of total identity liquidation. They'll claim your social security number is compromised, it's about to be suspended. It's the fear of being erased, of becoming a nobody in the eyes of the system. And that terror, well, that's the weapon they use to control you. The tools they use are really clinical. According to FBI forensics, they use spoofed phone numbers so it looks like a real agency is calling. They manufacture a federal emergency out of thin air, and they create this intense false sense of urgency insisting you have to act right now. They rush you into moving your money to a so-called safe account to protect it, and then they use your stolen identity to create completely new lines of fraudulent debt. Okay, so let's shift from the why to the how. This isn't just some threatening phone call, it's a procedural assault. We're going to break down the scammer's operational playbook, step by step, just like an intelligence analyst would profile a major threat.
The assault unfolds in 5 clinical phases, which you can see right here. It starts by spoofing an official number to establish their authority. Then, they use a little piece of your real personal data as a fear hook to prove they're inside the system. After that, they put you in a psychological lockdown, warning you not to talk to anyone else. From there, they guide you through the extraction, coaching you to move your own money into things like gift cards or crypto. And finally, in the identity shadowing phase, they exploit your stolen information for months, long after the call is over. It is a systematic takedown. Let's look closer at that lockdown for a second. They'll tell you you're under electronic surveillance and that if you hang up to call a lawyer or your spouse, it'll be seen as an admission of guilt. This is the psychological handcuff. It cuts you off from reality and makes the scammer's voice the only one you feel you can trust. And the extraction phase. This is where the absurdity should be obvious, but because you're in a panic, it's not. They'll tell you your life savings have to be moved into certified protective assets to shield them from a federal freeze. And what are these assets? They're always cryptocurrency or retail gift cards. They are banking on your panic, overriding that logical voice in your head screaming, "Wait, why would a federal agent need my money in Bitcoin?" And the final phase, identity shadowing, this is the long tail of the attack. They promise a new social security card is on its way, but while you're waiting for a card that is never going to arrive, they're using your master key to open up fraudulent loans and file fake tax returns. It's a process of synthetic identity manufacture that can completely wreck your credit for years.
So, the crucial point here is, why does this work so well on smart, responsible people? Well, the answer lies in this really deep-seated psychological vulnerability that these scammers have become experts at hijacking. Your brain has a built-in reflex to obey what it thinks is legitimate power. It's a survival trait, really. We're conditioned from the time we're kids to follow instructions from authority figures. Scammers exploit this through what's called the halo effect of the state. The second they start using bureaucratic jargon and official-sounding titles, they trigger that deep instinct to just comply. I mean, if you could just step back from the panic for 1 second, the request is completely illogical. This question right here, it highlights the absurd reality of what they're asking. No government agency on the entire planet operates using gift cards or cryptocurrency kiosks. And this gets right to the heart of the internal conflict that's just raging inside the victim's mind. Your logical brain is screaming, "This makes absolutely no sense," but your compliant, panicked brain, the one hijacked by authorities' submission, is only focused on the badge number, the case file, and the threat of being arrested. The scammer is betting everything that your institutional compliance instinct will win that fight. And that's the ultimate leverage. They are weaponizing your own desire to be seen as a good, law-abiding citizen. The fear of having your name tarnished, of being marked as non-compliant, that is often way more powerful than the fear of just losing money. They are hacking at your civic identity. Okay, understanding the attack is only half the battle. Now we shift from analysis to action. This is the strategic defense protocol. This is how you transform yourself from a potential target into a hardened defender. We've got 5 clear, actionable countermeasures. Think of this as a tactical protocol you can run through the second you sense something is wrong. First, perform an instant arrest audit. If anyone on the phone threatens you with immediate arrest for any reason, it is a 100% predatory scam. There are no exceptions. Second, deploy the identity shield. As a hard and fast rule, never, ever give your full social security number to someone who called you. A real agency will never call you out of the blue to verify it. The third countermeasure, direct verification, is your most powerful move. Hang up the phone immediately. That simple act is like a biological reset that allows your logical brain to come back online. Once you've done that, you initiate the next contact by calling the official number for the Social Security Administration, which you can see right here. Fourth, and this one is absolutely critical, enact the credit freeze policy. You need to proactively freeze your credit with the 3 major bureaus. That's Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. This turns your Social Security number into a dead key. A thief might have it, but they can't use it to open new lines of credit in your name. It is the single most powerful preventative step you can take. Finally, internalize this 5th countermeasure, the certified mail script. This simple sentence is an incredibly powerful tool to just shut down the entire interaction. A real federal official will understand. They'll comply with procedure. A scammer, on the other hand, who has just been robbed of their weapon of urgency, will almost always pivot to aggression and threats, and in doing so, they'll reveal exactly who they are.
So, let's summarize the core strategic principle that holds up your entire defense. If you remember nothing else from this explainer, I want you to remember this one simple distinction.
This visual lays it all out. The fundamental difference is this. Legitimate government institutions rely on documented, verifiable processes, and that primarily means official mail. They want your compliance with the process. The thief relies on the undocumented, fleeting nature of a phone call. All they want is your immediate, unthinking panic.
Let this be your mantra. The Sovereign Siphon works by impersonating the state to trigger your instinct for authority submission. It pulls out money through the fiction of protective asset transfers. But your defense is rooted in one simple truth. By freezing your credit and demanding certified communication, you build a firewall they just cannot break through. Never let a voice on a phone be the reason you lose your name. Remember, the state uses the mail, but the thief uses the call.